Gone, will the treasury take your little piggy bank or your nest egg from them when it does not dare touch the treasures stored at the top of the moor? So think on these things, but do not despair. Because if you were born down south, within a glimpse of those glittering castles, you have at least 10 more years to live on this planet than your friend who was born and lives in the north. And if you're our friend who was born and lives in the north, at least you are living. You are living better than that man who is lying dead in the Gaza Strip, Congo or Sudan. For to them you are like a king, like a princess, like a queen, like a prince, because of an accident. Because of an accident of birth, because of an accident of descent, because of an accident of the pigment of your skin. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Odemuyiwa. That was insightful, funny, brutal, personal, reflective. I don't know any other English. There is just a bit of time for perhaps a couple of questions. So, anyone has any questions, please? We have a gentleman asking the first question. He wished he had gone to Ikobi College. Well, unfortunately, he did not.
I'll be very humble because I'm so outnumbered by Ikobians. But coming from Bariga, it doesn't matter. My question, my name is Bola Jones. My question is actually about the reversal of diabetes. Because many people will say that many people have diabetes, yeah? But the reversal, how do they eventually get that reversed? And is it true that it can be reversed?
Reverse is probably not the word I would use, but if you say, can you go from being diabetic to not diabetic? The answer is yes. The most obvious example to me is the deputy leader of the Labour Party when, I think when somebody else was around, Watson anyway. Watson was enormous. And he had diabetes. And he decided to go on this diet. It's a very vigorous diet. It's about 200 calories, so really crazy. But he lost weight, diabetes disappeared. So the answer to your question is very simple. If you've got diabetes, some people, the weight goes up, then they suddenly find out that they've got diabetes. And when they change their diet, you change your diet, you lose weight, the diabetes goes. They stop taking tablets, you stop taking anything. So the weight is crucial. Because you see this thing in the middle of our bodies, and people say to me, the patients sometimes say to me, oh look, I've got this big belly and so on and so on. I always say to them, where else would you have wanted it to go? Your head? Or in other words, imagine middle egg spread on your head. It may well be in evolutionary history there were beings like that, but they're extinct. So what I'm saying is, what I say to my patients is, it's a factory. When I was, even when we were in medical school, there were charts of a lot of the biochemical processes. Those charts won't fit this room now. In those days, it was Krebs cycle, blah, 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 amino acids and so on. Now, I don't think the charts will, there's so many new pathways that have been discovered. So now, when I say to in fact, when I look at myself, I think this thing here is a factory, and it's a factory of disaster. Because basically, what are you doing with it? It's to keep you warm. You can wear a shirt, you know. So the rest of it is just causing trouble. Yeah, inflammatory cytokines, what they call cytokines, inflammatory markers, and so they're damaging you. So when you get home, take a tape measure and do a census, do a Nigerian census where you shave something off. No, it's crucial. I just look at it as a factory, and especially when you have grandchildren, you're thinking, especially when your grandchildren came late, so to speak. So mine are small. I have classmates whose grandchildren can have my grandchild. You know, it's just the way things happen. So I'm determined. I said to my wife when I had the recent birthday, I said, I'm now on project 2035. But I felt a bit sick when I hear that a junior has died. You know, so I'm saying, I want to get a bit further. So, but we should just do the best we can, and it's reversible. A lot of things that happen to us are reversible, and that's why I made a great point about the things that are reversible. Government can do what it wants, but we can control our weight. In spite of the pressures, we can say, these people, mark by me. So you can say, mark by me, I will lose weight, I will go cycling, I will go walking, I will play the music I like. So when they see me, they think there's something wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with me, I'm just happy. Sorry, I digress.
Thank you very much.
Question here.
We have a gentleman here. He says, he's not asking a question, just wants to make an observation.
All right.
Thanks, and I acknowledge the presence of the Ghanaian whose contribution is upgrades. And my observation was on the slides they presented on COVID. Those are affected. I think the figures are actually more frightening when you combine Black Africans and Africans together on one slide. And I personally feel there's more social element to it rather than a genetic element.
Oh, exactly. That's the point I was making. That there's the genetic element is overplayed by those who want to say there's something wrong with you as a people. When you do the sums, you will find that there's very little difference genetically between the groups. The big difference is the socio-economic situation. And what the thing I want to also stress is the Caribbeans arrived, broadly speaking, let's say they arrived before us. So you can use their history as a guide of things that you want to avoid. They've been through a lot more palaver than we have. A lot of us, I will speak on it personally, a lot of us arrived with something in our pockets. A lot of those first generation arrived with nothing in the pocket but their wherewithal, their physical body, and they were misused. If you watch that movie, that Axe movie by Steve McQueen. I was in tears. I was in tears on the educational one. I was upset. I had to go upset. As I said to you, my wife's white. I don't want to seem as if I'm... So I had to go and watch it on my own because I was in tears when I watched what happened to the educational side of things. And that's going down the generation. That's the crucial point I've learned over the last 6 weeks or so, is a lot of this goes down the generation. You don't have money. And I know the support I gave my children because I am in this position. And I always think to myself, if I wasn't in this position, it would be like this for this child. It's obvious. They go to school, they went to the school. The schools they went to, you go into the foyer. We said we went to ICOBA, you know, you go to ICOBA. We went to ICOBA. Then you come to Epsom College. The Porter's Lodge is better than Assembly Hall. Anyway, sorry, I digress.
Thank you very much. I think we'll Thank you very much, Dr. Thank you very much, sir.